Okay, let's go over some of the questions. Number one reads, after reading lines 1 through 17, markers blank. So we just need to fill in the blank. And then for evidence, we're using quotation marks and copying supporting details. Again, use transitional phrases. We're used to using according to the text, but you can continue with for further evidence shows, so on and so forth. Lastly, for reasoning, you're paraphrasing. You're paraphrasing what you just wrote. We'll go over number two because it's the same part of the story. Identify two words or phrases that are meant to emphasize irony. Irony is the opposite of what you expect to happen. So we'll look out for that. Let's go to the story. Okay. Look at the part that's in pink. Marketers have developed some fanciful food labeling strategies. In other words, that means marketers have come up with a way to trick consumers. You can copy what's there or you can put it in your own words. The green part is some evidence, and you know evidence is coming because if you read right underneath the pink, it says, for example, comma. So you know they're giving you some support for why that is the case. You later discover that the same size soft drink has magically transformed itself into a large. So there's some evidence, and at the bottom there's some more evidence. The labeling of these food and drink items seems whimsical or without rhyme or reason. Use any of those or both for supporting details. Make sure you use your transitional phrases. Then after that, you need to paraphrase, put in your own words for the reasoning. Now I notice large is in quotations because you don't expect to get a large drink if you order a small. Another is if you're trying to eat less. So if you're trying to be on a diet and you're trying to be smart about it and you order something small or kid size, but they give you a bucket, well, that's the opposite of what you expected. Let's move on to number, I think, 3. Number 3 reads, an important comparison between the Del-Boeuf effect and the Van Ittersum-Wansink experiment is, well, we're looking for a comparison, so we need to see what they have in common. And then for evidence or reasoning, it's very similar to number 1. Just remember to use the appropriate transitional phrases. Okay. Look at what's in yellow. Suddenly, the second dot, the one surrounded by the small circle, looks much larger. So I think what they're doing is when you highlight or circle, call attention to one of the circles, or one of the dots, excuse me, that dot seems larger. But if you circle that dot on a wide range, then the dot doesn't look as large. And at the bottom of the page is talking about how if you're eating on a large plate, it doesn't seem as if you have that much food. But if you're eating on a small plate, it seems like you have a lot of food. That's because, again, they're focusing on something small, so your brain thinks it's big. In the center, it says people's perception of portion size. So that's what they have in common. Whether you're talking about Cort Van Ittersum and Brian Wansink, or if you're talking about the Del-Boeuf illusion, they're both talking about people's perception of portion size. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. So we have the supporting details. Just make sure you use the appropriate transitional phrases like the past states, in addition, and, however, even. And for the reasoning, again, you're paraphrasing, explaining what does that mean. Like, what does it mean when you draw a circle around a dot up close as opposed to from afar? What does it mean? What do you mean, rather, by people's perception of food on a smaller plate versus a larger plate? You really have to break it down. That's what reasoning is all about. I hope this helped. Talk to you soon.